This is the all-new 8th generation Toyota Camry, and for the 2018 model year, Toyota wanted to change everything you thought you knew about the Camry. So today I have an XLE V6 here with me. Next week I'll have another Camry to review, so be sure to hit that subscribe button just down below to know when that video goes live. But today I want to take this car through my typical series of tests to find out if it's any good. So let's find out together here on the Drive Guide. With this all-new generation of Camry, Toyota took a very interesting approach into making this new car. They didn't want consumers painting all Camrys with the same brush, and they've done this by badging their cars either with an L or with an S. So the XLE, what we're in right now, is the more luxurious, more refined car. It's supposed to be for the people that are looking for a more day-to-day runaround, and the way you can tell it's an L model is that massive grille up on the front. For the S, that is more geared towards maybe the younger, more excitable audience that are looking for a car that's a little more dynamic, a little more sporty. Driving on the highway, I can certainly say that this is achieving its goal of being a very refined car. There isn't too much wind noise. I am hearing a little bit up here around the panoramic sunroof. It is a very windy day though, I must say. Ride quality with this XLE is sublime. I'm going along at highway speeds right now and nothing is upsetting the ride in this car. It doesn't float, but it is very good at controlling that upwards and downwards motion. With the Camry, you can get 3 different power plants. You can get a 2.5 litre 4-cylinder that is either by itself or paired with a hybrid electric system, or you can get this, the 3.5 litre V6 that produces 301 horsepower and 267 pound-feet of torque. And the engine is actually pretty good. It's very smooth. It can quickly get you up to highway speed and do it with very little drama. So in this XLE, we get plenty of tech. We have a 10-inch heads-up display unit. We have a 7-inch TFT screen in between these 2 dials, and then we have an 8-inch touchscreen here as well. If you want a more in-depth look of how this infotainment system works, let me know by hitting that like button down below. Other things that are of interest, we have the panoramic sunroof, as I just mentioned. We have dual zone climate control, push button start, wireless phone charging. We have smart key access, navigation, Bluetooth, all of the stuff that you would pretty much expect to have. But the great thing about the Camry is how much stuff comes standard. As standard, you'll get heated front seats, a heated wing mirrors. You get Toyota's safety sense equipment, so that's the automatic high beams, lane keep assist, radar assisted cruise control, pre-collision warning. So pretty good overall. I will say for the taller individual, the seat bottoms aren't long enough. When you get into the car the first time, you really don't have that much leg support. But one thing that I've found that really helps is if you tilt the far end of the seat upwards, that will support your thighs and quads so much better. Overall, all the major touch points are very well padded. This leather steering wheel is very nice in the hand too. And the design, it's eye-catching, but it's also approachable. Everything is laid out very neatly and it's very easy to learn. I'm really not keen on this plastic grain wood that we have here. It's just, I don't know what it's trying to be, but it's definitely not succeeding in it. I do think if this area was maybe just this same piano black plastic, it would look a lot better. But this brownish tan color that you see throughout the stitching and on the back of the seats here, I do think that looks good. When you're cruising along the highway, this 8-speed gearbox is brilliant. In its tallest gear, you're barely turning 1500 RPM when you're going at 110 kilometers an hour. You can change the gears yourself down here with the shifter if you wanted to, but I don't really see the need of that at all. This car does such a good job that I'll leave it to its own devices and be very happy with the outcome. So overall, it's pretty good in here. I would definitely go on a long distance cruise in this thing. So I think it's now time to get off the highway and see what this car is like on a day-to-day basis. So this Camry comes with 3 different driving modes. They are Eco, Normal and Sport. And when you're driving in town, I would highly recommend you keep the car in its normal mode. And the reason I say that is, when you're approaching something like a 4-way intersection and you have the car in Eco mode, the throttle response is greatly diluted. What you would typically think is a good amount of pressure to apply to the accelerator is negated because of what this Eco setting does. So you'll find yourself at a 4-way intersection and you'll put the amount of throttle input that you think is right to get you off the line quickly, but nothing happens. So you have to push your foot further, and then by that time the engine is kicked up a little higher in the rev range, and it always looks like you're doing this really jerky motion to get off the line, and I don't like that at all. So for whenever I'm in town, I'm keeping it in its normal mode. There's plenty of storage here too. You've got a massive center console. If you push back the wireless phone charging pad, you have a little of hidden storage underneath. I couldn't comfortably sit behind myself for a long journey. The roof line's a bit too low. So I think you could very easily sit 2 average size adults back there and then fold down that center armrest, and they would both be pretty happy. And then if you were to throw in some average size adults into the trunk as well, you could get 2 of them in there easy, no questions asked. For the user interface, I do really like the touch screen. It responds very quickly, and then you have the hard buttons to the left and to the right. I do feel as though the heads-up display is never quite bright enough. I have it on its brightest setting now, and I would like it to go a little brighter still, but it is now time to address the elephant in the room, which is that this Toyota Camry, alongside every other Toyota Camry that you currently can buy, cannot give you Apple CarPlay or Android Auto. Now, I have the great privilege of trying out many different cars that come from many different brands, and quite a few of them have that Apple CarPlay as standard, a no-cost option. And without it, I've come to realize how useful of a program that is. With my accent, Siri is able to pick up everything I say quite easily, but this this voice control system is just so hopeless for someone like me. It's a little bit of a shame that you can't even be given the choice to option Apple CarPlay or Android Auto with this car. You have 3 USB ports here in the car as well. You have one just under the main screen. You've got 2 in the glove box. You've also got a 12-volt power outlet. So that really covers everything I want to say about in-town driving, but as this car still has a sport mode, it's still my responsibility to go and take it into the twisties. Well, I'll be quite frank with you. Putting this car into sport mode doesn't really make that big of a difference. I can feel the steering weight up a little more. The gears are wanting to be held at a higher RPM. Maybe the throttle gets a little more immediate, but it's really not giving a lot of information to me. But the biggest problem of them all is the steering system itself. It is electric, so you're not going to be starting off with major success there. But I will say that I have absolutely no idea what the front wheels are doing. Yes, I know it's a Camry and it's an XLE, so it is meant to be the more luxurious, more refined car. But to put a sport mode in it, to try and push it that little bit further, I think it's really at this point trying a bit too hard. Again, I do like the way the engine sounds. The brake pedal is very firm, I do like that. And it's controlling its mass as it goes over the bumps nicely, but it's just not telling me much. In conclusion, the all-new Toyota Camry is a pretty good car. At 41,000 Canadian dollars, it does represent good value for money as well when you compare it to its competition. but it is missing a few key features that I would want out of a car in this category and of this price point. The Apple CarPlay, as I mentioned before, but also heated and ventilated front seats, a heated steering wheel perhaps as well. Those are the kind of things that I would personally want out of a car if I was buying in this category. But for the buying population that are looking for a car that's comfortable, refined, and easy to use day to day, there's no doubt in my mind that the Camry will continue to be one of the most popular cars in its segment. So that's everything from me. Thank you so much for taking the time to watching this video. I hope you can like, share, and subscribe, and I hope to see you again on the Drive Guide.